What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I wanted to talk about Madame Web, and I gotta be real, up until probably today, yesterday, the interest was very little. To be honest, the interest is still extremely little, and that's what we're here to kind of talk about. Number one, I never really cared much about this film at all. I never watched Morbius. I feel like the side Spider-Man projects that Sony does have not really turned out well. I did watch the first Venom and I did like it. Never watched the second one. Don't have a huge interest to actually do that. Third one, Morbius. Craven from the trailer looks really bad, at least to me. Madame Web always looked really bad, at least to me. But what I'm here to talk about is the Rotten Tomatoes score. The reception is not just the scores, right? Ultimately, what do we say a lot, on all three of my channels, right? Do reviews matter? Not that much, okay? Not really. You go based off of the eye test. For me, you go based off your own opinion, okay? That's the way I suggest others do it. Now, the thing is, this movie has always looked bad to me. So my own personal opinion looking at the trailers was, what in God's name are they doing? Then you have the reviews, and you can follow them and, have that, impact whether you're going to watch a movie or buy a game or whatever, right? That's fine. The thing is, we don't really see a lot of movies getting like 16 out of 100, right? So, and Rotten Tomatoes is not exactly like things like Metacritic and other, review sites where 16 doesn't necessarily mean it's like the average score was a 1.6 out of 10 or 16 out of 100. That's not actually what it means. But for Rotten Tomatoes, you normally don't see movies this low. When you see a movie that's about maybe 20, 25 or less, there's actually movies that have like zeros on Rotten Tomatoes, 1, 2, 3, right? These are some of the worst things ever created. And then you're starting to see clips come out on Madame Web. They also look awful. Then you're seeing not just the reviews, but also people that see the movie early. And I will say this, right? Now look, in terms of gaming, what I cover for games, I believe that not all people that get like invited to press releases, at least on the gaming side, press releases and early access, I don't think they're all paid off. I think some of like the main journalists are kind of paid off through like exclusivity, like they're allowed to go to these things, therefore they have to say positive things about it. I think some of that happens in gaming, but not all of it. I will say, in terms of movies, I feel much more strongly on that part where, look, these people, they go to the red carpet and, meet the stars and watch these films. Now, in this case, it was only a few days before, but, these like Access Hollywood types that review movies or talk to these people like 2-3 weeks before the movie comes out, I think generally you're going to get more positive than you are negative. I think a lot of things are going to be skewed positive. So my point here is when you get a 16, I think that's a pretty big issue because it might be lower. It might be lower than a 16. They gave a 16 just because they can't say it's the worst thing on planet Earth, although they're getting really close to that. But obviously you can't say it's good if you truly don't believe it's good. But even like people on Twitter that I've seen and kind of like more creative types on like YouTube and, like content creators, right? They are digging into this movie like I've never seen before. In fact, the number one thing about it is, it's awful beyond belief, but it's actually unintentionally hilarious. So the joke, with this video and with my opinion on it, I gotta be real, and this is me being honest, my interest in this movie has actually never been higher because up until yesterday, it looked bad. I don't think it was good. Like, I didn't think it was going to be good. And I had absolutely zero interest in watching. Now, to be fair, like, I don't care, right? Like, if you watch it, this is not an attack. I know I am kind of being, aggressive. But if you want to watch it, that's totally fine. My mindset really before yesterday was a lack of care. Anybody could watch this movie. I don't care if it makes money. I don't care if it loses money. I don't care if it exists. Okay, that's truly been my thought. I haven't even really thought about it in general, besides, I guess, seeing like ads, right? You'll see like a trailer and you'll think something, but honestly, I don't even care about its existence. After these reviews, after what I've now seen, and maybe it even being like unintentionally funny, my interest, like, I am not going to see this in theaters, but my interest in watching it in general was at a 0 out of 10. And now it's actually, and I got to be real, it's quite high. I have no interest still, and I can say this with, complete confidence, because it is literally me, I've never seen Morbius, and I have no intention whatsoever. I didn't even feel that like fear of missing out. I didn't even feel that with Morbius. Now I did watch like the after credit thing. I'd watch like reviews on it, but I haven't even watched more than maybe 5 to 7 minutes of Morbius. So I can say, like, from the bottom of my heart, especially, I guess, movies, right? Games, I'm quite a bit different, but movies, plenty of them, I can just straight up not care. Cannot care they exist, cannot care what happens to them, money-wise or review-wise. But, this is a special case, right? Like, I do love Spider-Man, and it does, I think, like, there's more ramifications than just the movie being terrible. I'm really interested to see how much it makes in the box office. I'm also excited to see the narrative where it's like, when does it come up again that Sony cannot make movies, in the Spider-Man world that are not centered on Spider-Man? Like, when do we bring that back up? Because Morbius failed, this failed, Kraven is absolutely going to fail as well. None of these, Venom has made money, and while I like Venom 1, I can't actually, say an opinion on 2. The reviews, and I would say even the receptions, maybe specifically of like the second movie, is not exactly high. So maybe that one has kind of escaped, but how much has that actually been propped up by Venom himself, or the character, right? Like, that may be enough to actually save a thing. What is going to save Madam Web besides like the actresses? But the thing is, like, Sydney Sweeney, I guess, is pretty talented. Dakota Johnson seems like a nice person. I like that she's ripping the movie apart in like interviews and just doesn't seem to really care at all. And she talks negatively about Hollywood. It's actually kind of refreshing to hear somebody talk. I don't think she's a good actress at all. She's never been one. I don't think she's come off in the trailers as good in this movie. The reviews of the movie don't paint any of them as being all that good. But it's also like the movie, they don't know how to film in this film. There's like weird dialogue. The script is terrible. Like, there's just like so much going on for the thing. But honestly, I don't know, maybe more than Morbius ever did. Because Morbius, I guess I always heard or sensed, and maybe I was wrong, that is just like bad, like maybe even boring or whatever, but it's just, you can't really get any enjoyment out of watching Morbius. I actually feel like, based off what I have seen so far, and I will make the end, I guess, opinion of it once I see it, but from what I've seen, this movie, like, is watchable. It is terrible, but like, there's something redeeming where maybe it's funny, maybe it's a movie that's quite literally, and this has happened many times, right? It's so bad, it's good. And this really has the early stages of being that. Now, I don't know, and still, these are the early people that got to see it. This is still people with some sort of filter on them. I believe that overwhelmingly. Are there some people that I think fully speak their minds that see movies early? Yes. I know a couple of them, right? But most of it, I'd say probably 90%, there, at the very least, is a little bit of a filter where they're going to go at least a little bit easy on it, or whether it's scores or whatever, there is that. So I cannot wait. Number one, till I see this thing. Now, that's going to be, I guess, maybe when they put on streaming. So whenever it comes on something, I don't even know what this would come on streaming-wise, I would watch it. I am interested to see the money it makes, and I'm interested to see the casual, average Joe who goes to see this movie on Valentine's Day starting tomorrow, how many people break up because of this movie, and what do those people, the average couple that goes to see this film over the next week, what do those people think about? Maybe it's better. Maybe it's actually higher. I don't know. But the odds are it's going to be lower. That's the historical accuracy that we've had so far, is that it's probably the average population, the response is going to be worse than what we've gotten so far. And it's terrifying, I guess, for the movie. It's hilarious for somebody like me that, again, doesn't really care all that much. So let me know if you guys are seeing it. Definitely let me know. And again, if I do watch it, if I watch it within an okay span of time, maybe we can do a review on this channel or something. Let me know what you think. Make sure you're subscribed, bell icons turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.